Hey, Ernesto.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jeremy.
Nice to meet you. Hey, thank
Hey,
you for
likewise,
joining.
man. How you doing?
Yeah, very excited for a chat today.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I'm kind of curious about it.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So before we get started, did you have any questions before we start?
Actually, no, I'm just curious. So I want to see how it goes.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'll jump right in and I'll start recording. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Telivy MSP podcast. I'm very excited to introduce our guest today. Ernesto, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. First, thank you for having me. My name is Ernesto Couso. I'm the CEO. I'm founder of Beaker, LLC. Beaker is a cloud managed service provider. We have strategic partnerships with the giants of the industry. We're Google partners, Microsoft partners. Actually, we are Microsoft Cloud Solution Provider. We're AWS partners, and we also have partnership with another 10 companies, including Alibaba Cloud, in order to serve our clients in mainland China. Recently, we got authorization to resell and provide services in the regions of North America, which is pretty much USA and Canada, LATAM or Spanish speaking, where do we have an office in Quito, Ecuador, and also in the SEMEA region, which is Southern Europe, Middle East, Africa, and emerging markets. So we're all over the place, pretty much. Our specializations are cloud infrastructure, cloud migration, technology innovation, digital workplace transformation, consulting on it, and reselling and services, of course.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, sounds like you're very, very busy and
I
yeah, very, very
am.
exciting as well. So, hey everybody, for folks who don't know, I'm Jeremy. I'm head of partnerships at Telivy, and we're an automated cybersecurity risk assessment platform for over 100 MSPs. MSPs like Halt Data Solutions, Triad Networks, and Level 5 Management use Telivy to run risk assessments to win new clients and monitor existing clients, and have all given Telivy 5 stars. And MSPs love Telivy because MSPs reduce risk assessments that take 7 to 8 days that they do manually to under 5 hours with Telivy. So let's jump right into it. Cloud Beaker, could you tell us more about what problems you solve and what services and solutions you provide, Ernesto?
Well, pretty much, we help our clients to unlock their cloud power. So there's companies who are already in the cloud, but they haven't optimized enough their infrastructures, or companies who are looking to go to the cloud. And we help them to find the best alternative, sometimes multi-cloud, which is our approach. That's why we have the partnership with, the three of the biggest public clouds. Sometimes hybrid, depending of the environment or depending of the level of compliance. Now that you mentioned security, that's something that we help them to, although we don't do cybersecurity per se. Personally have a lot of experience working on insurance and finance market where we had to go over SOC 1, SOC 2, high trust, FedRAMP, and all type of certifications. So we try to design our solutions depending on the client and of course the industry they're working in, because as you well know, security frameworks are different depending on the industry, and to build or consult and offer solutions based on best practices and of course compliance readiness for them. Pretty much we go from DevOps to cloud infrastructure to lift and shift migrations, and we assist with many other products that go from data analytics, data integration, data security, to telephony and interconnectivity services.
Very, very cool. Could you, I want to dive deeper a little bit into that. Could you share a customer case study story that takes us, end to end, right? From the initial problem they came to you with to how you resolve that initial problem to how the sort of continued, service. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And actually, one of our biggest clients is FCE, Benefit Administrators. FCE is a third-party administrator of benefits for the government contractors and sometimes the federal government. They're pretty big. It's a company who operates in all 50 states of the United States. And they have also offices in Guam, which is an island in the Pacific, but it's a naval base, but seeing federal contractors working there, FC served them. I was actually hired by FC in 2015. I spent 8 years with them. I ended up being the director of IT operations. And when I get there, FC was a company who was completely on-prem with resources, very old resources, very not properly configured infrastructure or networking, all that kind of things you need to access to a very prehistoric VPN connection. VoIP wasn't properly set up, so it was a big problem. I have to say that the leadership of the company, especially Chief Operating Officer Isaac Domenech, was involved from the modernization from the beginning. We receive a lot of support from senior leadership. This is a company that is they invest on technology, and they understand the importance and the priority. So I was hired in 2015. We need to build a team, bring all the team inside, because they were working with an MSP originally. So we decided to go to the cloud in 2016, although we had some resources in Azure. Back then, in 2016, Google was the underdog, but it was more flexible for us from the billing standpoint to start a migration to Google. I had, still have a strong background in AWS, but I decided that back then, since they need collaboration and all that, they were already in Office 365, we needed to start moving the data center. I'm talking about a big data center. They FC have a business systems department. They need to provide report, integration, data management. They developed their own software, so it was very complex. It took us a few years to complete the task of not only migrating and creating a hybrid environment with VPN connections, improve the ISPs, consolidate the data, improve the virtual servers, moving it to the cloud. Together with that, they have a software development department. So FC was developing their own software. So we need to support that from the DevOps standpoint. At the same time, they were developing the mobile application that I'm very proud to say that after all that, by 2020, when the pandemic hits, FC was 90% in the cloud. And was very easy for the company to transition to the remote working model that allowed the company not to drop a pin in performance and in the capacity to serve the clients, especially during the pandemic, since FC provides benefits like medical benefits and vision that were so important during those times. So today the company is 100% in the cloud, Google Cloud. They have a kind of multi-cloud approach since they use collaboration with Office 365 and also they use the advantages of Google like a Chrome Enterprise to for the remote workers that they still have, like a few days a week that they let people go home. So it was a titanic job, but when we did the math at the end of the 4 years, the company improved its performance and reduced their IT operational costs up to 40%. This moving to the cloud, although the costs were high at the beginning. Right now, the company is extremely efficient, is scalable, have a tremendous high availability. All offices are connected. Even the operations in San Antonio, Texas, together with the San Mateo headquarters, all to the cloud, including the phone systems. We were able to deploy their own PBX running on Google Cloud, which allowed them to be, provisioned all the time, even in the case of a major disaster. Also, the customer service department, they have a customer service department, can operate remotely if necessary. So the clients and members can now lose a call. So I believe that we're in the top of excellence. Because of that, the company is high trust certified, is SOC 1, SOC 2 compliance, high trust certified, and I believe that we're looking for CMMC certification too, which is more government. So this is
Wow.
our major case study. We're still
Yeah.
working with them and provide support because FC is a company, and that's what I love of that company, that never stops. They keep
Mm.
innovating. They keep innovating because they understood and they have feasible evidence of what a technology innovation process can do for the company, to help growth and to thrive
Yeah.
with a new technology.
Wow.
So
Ernesto, I love the way you told that story. And I think, it's very easy to understand, right? For the businesses out there and also for the MSPs out there. 40% improvement, right, on costs and performance. And, these days we all know everybody's working hybrid or working remote. And what I love that y'all had prepared your clients for remote and cloud work, that when COVID hit, right? Wow, didn't drop a
that was a
pin in
challenge.
performance.
That was
That's
it's a big challenge, especially at the beginning.
very impressive. Yeah,
The company,
absolutely.
do you remember the beginnings of COVID? Like somebody
Yep.
had a case in the building, they closed down the whole
Yep.
building.
Yeah, everybody was
So
scrambling, right? Nobody had laptops or like internet VPN access, right?
it
Just
was complicated for
chaos.
many companies. Other companies
Yeah.
suffered tremendously, especially the ones who were using VPN versus
Hmm.
their
Hmm.
on-prem locations. Imagine when you have 100 clients to the VPN, you're oversaturating your internet channel. So at the end of the day, nobody can work. That changed tremendously when you're in the cloud, since all the cloud public providers like Google or Amazon or Azure have, well, I don't want to say unlimited because that's not true,
Hmm.
but they
They can
have
scale.
with,
Yeah.
yeah, they can scale up and load balance
Yep.
and give people the access they need without losing very little in performance and capacity to do their jobs. You just need to
That's
have the infrastructure and policies and processes in place for that to work effectively, right?
yeah.
Is a challenge to manage a workforce remotely. Cloud Beaker is pretty much all remotely, so we got people all over the place. We got engineers in Pakistan, here in the States, in
Wow,
Austin, in
awesome.
Florida. We got a sales team that is working in Philippines, and we got another one in
Wow.
Latam. So uh, the lessons learned from that process, especially for me, I've been in IT operation for over 20 years,
Hmm.
more than 17 on senior leadership roles. So I know my ways, but this part was a big challenge, and I appreciate.
Mm.
I don't want to take the credit to myself or to my company of what we technologically achieved with FC. I want to give more credit to the senior leadership, especially to the CEO Steve Porter and to the COO, my friend and brother Isaac Dominich, who have the vision and they support these efforts tremendously in order to keep the
Mm.
company running and to be efficient and to serve better their members.
And I want to learn more about your team, and also yeah, just your whole 20-year story as well. Yeah, in a little bit later. But for now, I'm curious to dive in a little bit more about your customers. So you mentioned the government customers. Are there multiple industries that you all work with? I remember you mentioned finance really early as well.
Yes.
And how big are these companies, right? You're talking hybrid, remote, right? Using Google Cloud, and is this hundreds of employees? Is this 100? Is this 50? Is
We
this?
can scale up. Actually, we do go from SMB to enterprise. We don't
Hmm.
have a limit because remember our backend is going to be either Google or Amazon or Azure, so they can support that.
Hmm.
The way Cloud Beaker works is we have our internal resources. So especially me, I'm first and foremost an engineer, right?
Hmm. Yep.
I'm a CEO because well, I founded the company, I use my own money to start getting the things. But all my allies, my chief revenue officer Joe Wilson, my CTO Joe Dallin, and all the engineers that work with me here in the States, it's people who've been working with me in the past, people that we
Mm.
know and they have over 25 combined experience in this field, in doing the job. I'm an engineer, like I said, and I was very picky in the way I wanted to structure the company to serve clients. I was working for an strategic partner till January 2023, and I'm going to say the name. I believe it's not important now. The way others were doing business, I didn't appreciate it, and maybe it's because I've been on both sides of the aisle. I've been a director of IT,
Yeah.
CTO, where vendors come to me to offer me services,
Mhm.
and I know what I want, and I know what makes sense to me.
Mm.
And I've been also on the other side trying to sell to this type of executive.
Yeah.
We decided with the team that we're going to have a different approach. Our approach is no long-term commitment. So I don't make anybody to sign a long-term contract, not even for a year. With us, it's month to month. And if you're
Mm.
not happy with the service we're providing to you, you can terminate the relationship, no strings attached, no hard feelings. We like to call ourselves first and foremost a consulting company. So I'm not trying to sell you either Google or Microsoft or AWS. We
Right.
use
Right.
that as a complement to our services.
Yeah.
So we offer free assessments. So we go to your company, we got a lot of experts. We talk to your team. We understand first. We understand what is your struggle. Where are you getting struggle? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Ernesto, that's a perfect segue into what I want to talk about next. So you're talking about your process into meeting new clients, what that customer experience is like, right? When you first get to know each other, talk. You mentioned an assessment. So more broadly, can you share with us your sales process from, how do you meet new clients to what's that initial demo or assessment? I'd love to hear a breakdown of that as well. Your pitch proposal, does it happen a month later?
Right.
Your to deal one to like continuous monitoring, you mentioned month over month, managed service to upgrades, how does it work? How does
Well,
your process work?
actually, yeah, that's the challenging part. Pretty much. Well, we use, of course, also software to get the leads and all that, and we got a sales team who take the time to make the calls and call email and all that. When we reach a
Mm.
client, and this is the response we get 90% of the time. Oh, we're already in the cloud. Oh no, we already got a company with those guys. So my pitch is just bring the client to the table. So tell them, okay, that's fine. We're not trying to sell you anything here. We just want to understand. Look, we have this broad spectrum of technologies, and we can be just a consultant. And talk to us is free. Even do a free assessment. We can sit down with you, understand what you have, what are your needs, what are you looking for, and we can meet with your team, make an assessment to understand that, okay, this is our recommendations, and that is completely free. Right? We
Mm.
don't sell packages. Look, for example, we got this new client. I won't disclose the name. You understand that there is some information I cannot disclose. And they were telling me, no, we're in the cloud. We're already on this cloud, and we already have this set up and that. So this company for over 1,000 employees. But
Wow.
my sales executive was pretty good. And he said, well, let's have the conversation. Well, I can have the conversation, but I'm telling you, I already have that. So I went there and I just started talking with the client. Okay, what are you facing right now? What is your struggles? And how do you think in doing this? And how do you think in that? And we're here just to support you on this type of things. We got a lot of experience, like I said. So once you match that with the client, especially because you need to understand that any director of IT out there is still here of talking with vendors who don't care what his problem is. They just want to sell something. It's like a snake oil salesman, a guy
Yeah.
selling you a car, right? When they talk with somebody who has the same background, which is easy, that's what I'm trying to teach and to mentor my team. That is, okay, you got this problem. Well, I have it before because I've been using this ERP system or this, that, and this. Oh, yes. Then you begin creating like some empathy there, right? It's like they think, okay, these guys understand what's my problem, and they are not offering me anything. For example, we are about to close that deal, and we decided to go with a cloud provider, one of them. I don't overbill anything on the cloud provider. So I'm going to provide you the invoice, what your consumption on that cloud provider, and I'm going to provide the billing report from that cloud provider. So you see that my invoice will match that value. I don't need to make money out of you from that because I'm a partner. I got a profit margin, so I don't overbill the clients. I don't force them to have extra support of things they don't need. My promise is not to get them into a long-term commitment that will make them to spend more money as they grow. No, it's to optimize. I wrote, it was published on Read Write magazine, and I'm finishing my PhD in technology innovation management, so publishing is part of me, part of the requirements. I published a strategy for cloud adoption that is called the AOD model, right? This is copyrighted, so I already published. So the AOD model is based on adapt, optimize, and deliver. So when you
What
go
was
to
the last part? The last part?
Deliver.
Deliver.
That's continuous delivery.
Deliver.
Right? Otherwise, you don't work. Companies who don't innovate and continue delivering the same process will perish in that. So we adapt what we got. So there is a lot of corners that go to the process of infrastructure modernization, which it is infrastructure modernization, but they go and said, oh, you got a 2008 server there that maybe is running a legacy critical application that cannot be modified by tomorrow. But the client wants to go to, oh, that's not support, I cannot do it. No, I don't use that approach. That's why we're gonna get that server, just to give you some technical things, I don't want to get too technical. We're gonna nest it, virtualize on the provider, and we're gonna put it to work in there. First, we're gonna adapt and we're gonna put it in the cloud, and then we're gonna optimize that. But we're not going to disrupt your productivity or your production, and we're gonna do everything in parallel. What people don't understand is, and maybe it's wrong for me to say it this way, but I've been very frustrated in the past, is that there is no voodoo or magic behind a cloud platform. All right. Although there have the differences in operations pretty much are the same. What really matters is your expertise on system engineering and the backend and the understanding of the core infrastructures, because everything runs over that, right? You can tell me that it's an EC2 in Amazon or a VM on Google. At the end of the day, that works over the same operating system, over a similar platform, which is a virtualized one, right? That's what it is. Once you understand that, then you can provide tailored homegrown solutions to your clients, right? Without the need to go to a third party. Oh, you need a VDI on Google, you need to go to a third party. No, that's not true. Okay, there is a lot of things that you can do there, right? Using the Google tools, right? Same with Microsoft, same with Amazon. Your willingness to find a solution that is cost effective and is homegrown for your clients is the capacity that you have as a company to serve them better.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. And I want to jump back to something you said earlier about building empathy. So I graduated with a computer engineering degree from Georgia Tech. I come from an engineering background as well. I also founded my own company, which just like you, which we'll get into in a bit. And having to learn sales and also empathizing with, wow, I get bogged down in vendors. Everybody gets bogged down with vendors and emails, and honestly, I mark them as spam, right? They're just trying to sell me on something. When we hop on a call, they're just trying to sell me on something. It's hard to listen, but when you have that conversation, Ernesto, it sounds like you're trying to apply, when I was a CTO, this is how I felt, right? These were my needs, my pain points. This is what I needed. And when you talk to them, you go, oh, so what do you need, right? And what's the situation? Oh, and then you get into the technical details. And I feel like you build trust with people that way, right? Oh, like they understand, right? They're not just trying to shove a solution down that might not even work for me, right? Or might be too costly for me, right? But you understand, you empathize, you understand what their cost needs are, right? You mentioned, what you do with the invoices. So I absolutely love that. I wanted to ask, because Telivy is a automated risk assessments platform. I'm curious, when you do assessments, just to learn from your process, what is your assessment process? Do you do external assessments? Do you do full sort of like on device assessments?
I do both depending on the workload. There is clients who are very small, so we can do the assessment and take the necessary measures to
you do that manually?
to minimize risk. So we got some applications to do that, to do so. We got, of course, our own, we're in the process of being SOC 2 compliance too, so we have everything in place. However, when it's a major workload, we use a third-party company, right, to work with us. We don't build that extra to the client. It's all incorporated within the process. And like I said, it's in a client by client basis, right? Not all of them. We always do a risk assessment. Actually, we provide insurance. We have corporations, for our professional services up to $2 million. So we offer that. If we do something that is not right and damage, we'll cover up to $2 million. So we know how to protect ourselves and how to minimize risk. And we share that in a major project with them, especially the riskier ones are the collaboration migration. For example, somebody who wants to go from Office 365 to Workspace or vice versa, right? We did a migration of over 2,800 mailboxes. This was Microsoft to Google, and it was quite a challenge. And there was a lot of risk because then we had to perform what we call a domain audit. So we can identify which is a compromised account that they had to, compromise accounts, but and take measures during the migration. So it wasn't just like the standard process. I would click next and start migrating things. We have to go in it's like a bunch by bunch basics, like that, and we got a method for that. But in the big cases, yes, we use third-party company. I won't disclose the name, but I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this type of company. Maybe your company does that. So
it's interesting how you provide insurance as well. And actually, the founding story of Telivy, our founders originally started Telivy as a cyber insurance company. And then as they were talking to clients, they're like, no, actually, our clients need risk assessments, right? And I'd love to understand, so risk assessments is part of your sales process to win the client, right? Is part of the education and also the precursor to the solution, right? Oh, you got to understand what the risks are before you start solving them or go, oh, this is what we can do for you. And just for, because not every MSP may understand the difference between risk assessments or even how to use risk assessments in sales. I guess from your perspective, why is that important? Why do you have that piece in your sales process?
Well, it's actually it's extremely important, and sometimes it's not even on the sales process; it's internally. So I won't jump into any project, no matter how small it might be, without running a risk assessment, because we need to understand. Remember, we're working with clients' data, and that data is sensitive. And if you damage, because you didn't take the proper measures, and you make a mistake with a client, that is fatal for any company.
Right.
You're going to lose credibility. You're going to lose a lot of things, regardless if you have insurance or not. So for me, risk assessment is prioritary. Sometimes the clients are not interested in that. Remember, you need to read the audience. Who is talking to you? Sometimes we have found director of ITs, which is somebody that they gave them the job of director of IT, but they don't have any computing background.
Right.
They just executives that, hey, I just have a help desk here. I need some help because I want to do something good. So the level of conversation with them is different. It is our responsibility as their provider to take all the measures and to give them all the resources to for them to feel confident and secure on what we're doing, to guide them step by step of the process. And that's why my approach is tailored solution. I hate to sell packages. And I see this company, every time I see this company, it's like, oh, this is our package, 5 VM migration, this amount of money. That's dumb, because depending on the VMs, that price or the effort could be higher or lower.
Right.
So you don't know until you do, like you said, a risk assessment, and until you understand the environment and the need. Everything can change in just to use the same example, a 5 VM migration package. It can change the operating system. It can change the platform. It can change the requirements. It can change the type of networking they need to use in the back end, right? Are they segregated? Are they DMZ? Are they going to be on the same subnet? Do you need to split it? Which one's level of access? All that change when you're migrating, even something as simple as 5 VM.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So when somebody offer a package, for me, I believe that works for some people. For me,
Sure.
from the other side of the aisle, as a CTO, if somebody comes to me offering me, oh, yeah, we're going to migrate 100 VM for this, I'm going to discard that conversation right now.
Right.
So
Right.
you don't know what you're doing. So I'm
And
sorry.
that extremely valuable wisdom, right? In the industry, being on both sides. Yeah, and it sounds like from what you're saying, it doesn't make sense from a technical perspective for the customer or for you, the vendor, and it doesn't make sense from a sales perspective because the costs and you don't know, right? And it needs to be custom tailored, as you said. Which I believe when you custom tailor a solution and you build, you do that due diligence, you run the assessments, you fully understand, you're able to provide a better solution anyways. And you're working hand in hand with the customer, you build up a better working relationship with the customer anyways. There's a lot of benefits to that approach. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Makes a lot of
And
sense.
that's the goal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I believe that both things goes hand in hand. And yeah, I won't do it any other way. So if that's the advice for any other MSP, yes. Risk assessments is the first thing you need to do after signing the contract.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, switching gears a little bit, because you alluded to this earlier. What's the founding story of your team? You know, how did you meet them? I know you mentioned that you've met them in the past, you know, with past work experiences. How did you found this company and why?
Well, look, I've been all over the place. I was born in Cuba. I'm Cuban. I started, well, I finished college. I'm graduated from bachelor in computer engineering. Before my final year, I was selected by the United Nations Development Program. I'm talking 1998. I'm old. We were developing for a company in Cuba called Infomed, or the Cuba's Medical Information Network. We were developing the America's Health Virtual Library. Back then, we were developing in CVIs, all CVIs and all Unix, you know, ANSI type of things with basically HTML3 and CVIs running on the server side. I was selected for the program with the United Nations Development Program to go to the British Caribbean, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent's, to deploy the solution. That was based on the Medline, I remember. Well, it was quite an experience. And because of that, when I presented my dissertation in college, they granted me the master's directly, so I didn't have to apply. So the next year, I took my master's on innovation technology, sciences and innovation technology management, and I started working for a major ISP. I left Cuba in 2003. I went to Ecuador, and my reason why I left Cuba are, let's say that I wasn't very happy with the system down there. So I don't want to go there. That's different type of conversation. So I went to Ecuador, and with a lot of struggles, I became director of engineering for a major ISP. I started working on ISPs. Then I changed to satellite. I've been doing a lot of things. I got married at 34 and have my older daughter down there in 2014. I'm sorry. Yes, 2014. I was the CTO for an FTC group, which is a multi-corporate company that was a consulting MSP and internet service provider, corporate and residential. Yeah, we did very good deals in there. So I remember. I decided to come to the States for a personal reason. With my older daughter have Turner syndrome. I thought it wasn't the right place to, and I decided, even when we had a good life, to come down here. Came in 2014 after because I'm Cuban, there's some laws that allow me to become a resident pretty fast here in the States. I got my first job at FCE in 2015. I was with them till 2021 when I went to work for a Google strategic partner as a practice lead of the Google Cloud. And in 2023, I decided that enough is enough. So I want to do something on my own. And I got my friends and some of the clients, the people I know, they say, why don't you open your own company? Why don't you do this? I was very frustrated in my past position because I didn't like the sales process. I didn't like the approach to clients. And I know that everyone has a different opinion. To me, this is not what the clients need. This is not the best way of helping people. I understand we have a business. We want to make money, but I feel better if I make money serving others when it's a win-win situation.
Yep.
Right? When it makes sense to you and it makes sense to me, and I'm providing some value besides a monthly invoice because I got you hooked up for the 1, 2, 3 years contract, that makes total no sense. And when I'm not trying to save you, but to spend more. So I decided that, okay, I already achieved the highlights in my career as a professional. I'm finishing my PhD, which is my highlights as an academic. I wanted to have a partner who offered me the same thing, the liberty to be in control, right? That I'm keeping my relationship with this vendor because I feel that I have value, because there is no, like other commitments in there. It's like, okay, let's work together because we want to, because we provide value to each other. That's very hard to find. I'm trying to find it. Maybe I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And I can't help but feel it goes back to the empathy, right? The reasons why your customers stay with you, and it's proven now, right? Month over month over month, and continue working and continue making requests and continue building that relationship. Yeah, that's incredible. I was going to ask you, so I'll ask it anyways, but I feel like you already answered it. But looking back at the last 20 years, right? 20 plus years in the IT industry. I won't name the names, but what's the most important lesson that you learned, maybe that you could share with our audience?
There's a lot. There's a lot of lessons. I believe that the most important one is what I'm trying to apply now. It's like take a breath and try to understand. Engineers, in general, we are too quick to offer solutions, and sometimes we offer solutions without hearing the problem yet, right? Because I had to be in a leadership position with I learned, and I had a lot of mentors, people that I look up to, that helped me with this. I got a good personality, so people follow me, and I'm a public speaker, right? So I can lead teams, but there was that piece that I lacked, and I believe I still do. I still lack, which is the patience. It's like a listening and try to understand 100% what the problem is. Because sometimes I see something and I say, okay, this is the solution, but I don't understand that, there is more than one way to skin a cat, right? Especially in IT. So what for you is the fastest and the best, not always is what the client requires. Sometimes you need to take a break and find an alternative, a workaround in order to, to see the bigger picture. That patience, that capacity to understand is my biggest lesson. Okay, I believe I'm a better professional, I'm a better engineer, I'm a better leader, because although I still have to work on it, but now I take the time to explain things in details and to listen. The need, not only for the client, I'm talking about from the leadership standpoint, to understand the needs of my own team or the company I'm working for. So I've been in corporate for 20 years. So pretty much we complain about all the departments. They don't know what they're talking about. These people don't know how to upload this.
Yeah.
Right? This guy don't know how to use the goddamn phone. but we are not positioning ourselves
Right.
into the customer shoes, right?
Yeah.
I believe that I learned, and that's the biggest lesson, to understand the problem from the customer or the user perspective. That gives me situational awareness is super important. Understand what is around you. It's like it's a military term. Situational awareness, self-awareness, and sense of urgency. That's it. I believe the three more important things, or the four more important things to be effective as an IT leader or as an engineer. Same thing.
Wow. That's incredible. I think it's very wise of you to be mindful and self-aware of all these things, right? And how you were explaining it and being self-critical and reflecting and realize these things. I think it all makes sense. It ties back to the empathy. It ties back to custom tailoring your solutions with your customers. It all connects, I think. So I have just a few last questions just for fun for me, because I
Absolutely
found these things. I just you're a very interesting individual. You have a doctor of course, a doctor of philosophy.
Almost. I'm
philosophy.
Writing, yeah, PhD. Yes.
Tell us about that. IT engineering and then philosophy.
Yeah, but it's a PhD in technology innovation management with a major in IT project management. Yes, I started in 2020. I started in 2020. I already got a master's degree. I'm a master in sciences and innovation management. So this is something that I'm passionate about, and I've been working on it. I've been a professor in a university in Ecuador in the past. So I believe that at one point in our lives, especially for us who are very technical people, we reached that point. Maybe it's because I'm in the middle age crisis right now, but we reached that point where we need to mentor and to train others, which it is important, okay, to share the knowledge. Yeah. I'm sorry, apologize about that. I'm a firm believer that a shared knowledge is way more beneficial for mankind. Maybe this is an idealism of mine.
You're a dreamer.
But I might be, but I believe that that's what allows future generations to grow, right? Because I remember when I was 20 years old, I thought I was a know-it-all. I know everything. And it wasn't like that. So you learn every day, and the capacity to share that knowledge is important. That's why, well, actually, I started my PhD. I didn't have the need. I just started the PhD because my older daughter didn't want to go to school. Well, I don't have to go to school. So, well, I don't have to go to school. I'm going to start school again. So I've been doing it for the last 2 years. I already finished my course. I'm very proud of my 3.68 GPA. And I'm writing the dissertation right now. So I should be defending my dissertation, all goes well, in October this year. So in a couple of months, and then I'm going to be a PhD. So yes, I'm going to put a LinkedIn, Dr. Ernesto.
Yep. We got to have you back when you're Dr. Couso.
There you go. There you go. Wow. No, I wanted to write you. So I started publishing things in good magazines. So Read Write, which is a 5 million user magazine gave me the opportunity to contribute with articles. Of course, you write the article, you need to submit it to an editor that have to be reviewed by your peers and all that in order to be published. But so far they published one, which is about the AOD model. And I'm trying to share that knowledge. If you go to the cloudbeaker.com website, the blog have a lot of publications that I try to, as much as I can, when I can find the time, to write something and put it in there to give visibility to people. And I share all over. Okay, this is what I think. This is my point of view. This is free knowledge for everybody. I'm not in the somebody told me, why don't you write a book and you can sell it and make money? I don't think that's a good way to spend my brains. So.
Wow. This is my last official question. I think everybody has a story and why they are who they are. Today you've talked about how you approach IT and customers. You know, I forgot the first letter, but optimize and deliver, right? Right? Adopt, that was
Optimize,
it.
and deliver.
Right? You custom tailor your solutions. You're empathetic to the customer. You do things that make sense technologically, right? You don't bind people in contracts. You also are sharing your knowledge and teaching and passing on your wisdom and what you know. uh these are very interesting qualities once you put them all into one single person. I'm curious, you mentioned earlier that you started out in Cuba and you went to Ecuador and now you're in Texas. I'm just curious to scratch this, just even the surface of where this all comes from. Yeah.
I believe that, and that's a very good question. So it's not about knowledge. It's not about the capacity. I know people with a GED who are the best senior executive you can know. It's not about that. I believe that people can sell. I have a friend of mine who have no degree and they're brilliant. I believe that the foundations of who you are as a person, it comes from, well, many different places. Family, culture, you know. I was born in Cuba. I didn't have, they sent me to a boarding school when I was 14, and then I have to go to the military, which is mandatory. So it gave me a different type of structure, like always keep pushing, always keep working, always keep moving forward, because that's the only thing that's gonna take you ahead. All right. If you want to survive, in my case, survive, or if you want to make something of yourself, you need to keep pushing, 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 never retreat, never surrender. And that is a strong will. I was born in the 70s, so my parents, my grandparents have very strong conservative principles, like, and that I not necessarily agree with all of them, but at least was the foundation. I believe that, sadly, people today, the most modern guys who's learning, for example, I started as a developer, right? But in my times, we didn't have Windows, right? It was MS, DOS, and Turbo C, and structural programming. So you really need to know what you're doing there, right? So it gives you that passion to understand the core things. And of course, as we evolve and we go to the cloud, for me, I always try to understand the core of everything. It's a virtualization, products, a multi-layer, that. So again, I like to understand how the things work for me. I'm talking about from the computing standpoint. And I found people now these days that they go to I don't know, training course, 6 months, and now they believe they're senior front-end developers, but they don't even understand what an API is.
Yeah.
And they don't make the effort, right? I believe that people lack stability, or many, not all of them. There is great companies in there. There's great people. There's great young people doing tremendous things, right? But overall, the passion or the level of passion has changed, right? I'm talking about my background coming from Cuba and all the struggles and all that, to being a grown man when I was 18, burning all my teenager years, because that's what, my regime or the system down there provides. Is like here in the States, it's a country I love so much. It breaks my heart to see how many people who takes their own country for granted. Right. I don't want to go to politics because that's have nothing to do with this. It's about like why I don't value what I have and take all the opportunities I have to be better. Right. To have enthusiasm and to have motivation and to have ideas, like you, Jeremy, you're doing the podcast, your own company and all that. And you're a young guy. That is passion. That is the ability, okay, to move forward regardless. Okay. I'm doing this because I enjoy it, because I want to be somebody, because I want to make an impact. All right. And that heart and that passion is the only thing that matters. Right. Unfortunately, what we see here is, oh, I'm gonna send you a package. There's a 5 virtual machine for $100. And that is the root of everything. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Right. So I don't know if that answered the question. I believe I went to the branches.
I'm gonna disagree with you and say, but you can learn it. But you
Oh
can learn
yeah,
it
definitely.
by listening to people like you. I certainly share a passion.
Definitely, I agree with you on that.
And I'm learning from you, right? So I'm an example.
No, definitely, you are absolutely right. Maybe I wasn't very clear on that. Yes, you can learn it. Yes, everything. You know, your desire to learn and to move forward and to be better every day is something that anybody can have.
Yeah.
The problem is not often, not everybody. Okay, and that is, for me, is heartbreaking, especially because I got 2 little girls that I don't know why I believe they're gonna end up being spoiled princesses. Yes,
I'm spoiled too, but I have hope. So I'm gonna disagree with you to the end. I have hope that it's possible.
it is possible.
I know you're very experienced.
It is possible. I'm telling you, it is possible. Okay, come on, that's our hope. It is possible, but you need to jump into it.
Yeah,
right. It have to be your decision.
Yeah.
Right. And yes, I agree with you. Actually, I probably went too far there. I'm an old grumpy dude. That's what happened.
That's okay. That's why we have the balance. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Ernesto. That's the end of our podcast.
Thank you.
The last plug, feel free to plug, however you like. Who should reach out to you? What's the best way to reach you? If you have any promotions, anything, go for it.
Absolutely, guys. So you can reach us at www.cloudbeaker.com. Our phone number is 800-745-1526. And you can send an email to info@cloudbeaker.com or sales@cloudbeaker.com. And that's it. So anything you need, we're here to help you guys.
Awesome. And everything will be in the description. And just a quick plug for me. Hey, folks, are you an MSP? Get your free automated risk assessment today at telivy.com. TELIVY.com. And special promotion for our podcast listeners. Thank you so much for listening. If you like Telivy and you want to run automated risk assessments on more clients and more endpoints, just let us know you came from the podcast. We'll give you a 20% off the upgrade. So
I'm gonna check you out right now. Actually,
all right, let's do it. Yeah, bring it on. Please give us your feedback. We want to learn from you as well. So and everybody else who's listening. So cool. Thank you so much, Ernesto.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hi.
I'm going to end the recording. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Ernesto. That was
that's
fun.
a good one. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready? What do you mean?
Well, I can't.
You did great.
I'm an easy talker, right? So I can make the conversation, but you put me on the spot sometimes. They'll say, how do I focus this part, right? Without putting anybody. Well, that means that you're a very good interviewer, right?
I learn from people. Yeah, I learn from people who are really good.
I'm not a good interviewer.
I think you would be even better than me because of the understanding, right? The custom tailoring, the empathy. That's the key. I think that's the foundation of where I'm learning is the empathy, right?
Trust me, I'm behaving right now. Yeah, I got. No, I believe that it's great. It's great. Actually, I was very curious about the podcast, but yes, please, I'll be available anytime you need. And actually,
thank you so much.
Actually, I'm sorry, I need to jump in another meeting, but I'm gonna check what you have because we do risk assessment. So this is something that I'm interested in, not only for me as Cloud Beaker, but also to offer to my other clients. So that's something that we can work together. Okay, let's follow up over email. Thank you so much, Ernesto. All right, Jeremy. Nice talking to you. Thank you. Have a good one. Nice talking to you too. Thank you.